This is the briefing for Tuesday, July 15th. Well, we had quite an interesting day in the stock indices today. It was really interesting. I think I had mentioned last night in last night's briefing that I was long the Russell, the IWM, going into the open this morning, and you can see this is where we closed in last night's trading. And then, of course, we opened right into this resistance level. And after about 5 minutes, I exited that trade because it was pretty obvious that we weren't going to get through that resistance level and potentially test this high around 226. But as the reversal started and we started to break through yesterday's trading, this was a pretty good setup. This candle was a pretty good setup for a short position, which is what I took, a short position in the Russell. And certainly we closed at the low of the day, suggesting that we're going to potentially see follow through tomorrow. Now, the next level of support, and very important support on an hourly basis, is about the 217.72, 218 area in the IWM. Interestingly enough, the same thing occurred in the spiders, and you can see this is the opening candle where it opened above resistance and then traded through it. A little bit different though, because there was this rotational pattern, and then the degree of selling that occurred going into the close was not as great as it was in the IWM. Next level of support in the spiders is the 620 area, and actually it's pretty close to a short-term support level, because you can see these buying tails that came in on this day, and they're really in the area of about the 621.50 area. So it's going to be interesting to see if the spiders can get through 621.50 and then test this 620 area. Now, if that area is broken, that all bets are off. We're probably likely going to see a sustained selling, at least for the next couple of days. The real interesting factor is what happened in the Qs, or the NASDAQ. You can see it came down, and for a long time it tested resistance or support, at 558. And not until about the last few minutes of trading before the market closed did it trade through this 558 and close below that level of support, which is now resistance. So it's going to be interesting to see if we have an intermarket divergence between all of the indices. You can see that the Q's just trading through that support level, spiders having traded through it, and potentially looks like it is halfway through this rotational pattern, and the IWM testing the lower extreme of this rotational pattern. So the intermarket divergence exists, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly which one of these indices is correct, and whether we're going to see another rotation back up in tomorrow's trading. Closed at the low of the day in all the indices. That suggests that selling would have continued if the market hadn't closed. So it'll be interesting to see if we see follow through in tomorrow's trading. Breadth was fairly negative. It's 403 shares. That's about 80% of the S&P 500 was trading lower as opposed to higher. Negative 2,000 in the NASDAQ, and negative 1,600 in the Russell. Net volume was held up decently through the day, but then absolutely collapsed going into the close, and you can see that right through there. Interestingly enough, what's occurring with volume is just really something. I don't think I've ever seen volume collapse like it did in today's trading. This is NYSE volume, and this is NASDAQ volume. Now you can see that net volume has been declining for quite some time, suggesting weakness. The same thing with the NASDAQ. You can see the decline right there, and then of course another decline over the last 3 to 4 days of trading as well. But I've never seen my chart show me volume that is as light as this. The only thing, there's a possibility this is a bad tick, or there's a bad tick here, but I doubt it. But boy, volume was just extremely, extremely light in today's trading in both the NYSE and the NASDAQ. So it's going to be very, very interesting if this rally, if this decline continues tomorrow. Volume is going to have to change drastically. Otherwise, we're potentially going to see the entire move to the downside retraced in tomorrow's trading. So it's going to be interesting to see how we open, whether we open lower and if there's follow through, or if we open higher and then we see follow through in the first 30 minutes to hour of trading. Overbought and oversold, we're at a point of being oversold in the NYSE and in the NASDAQ, but not at an extreme. So there is some room to see more downside, but if we do see more downside and we see lower prices, but breadth being stronger, that's an indication that we're potentially going to see some type of rotation back to the upside. Tomorrow's going to be a very, very interesting open. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to resolve itself, this intermarket divergence, and see if we're at least the IWM is going to test the lower extreme, and see if the spiders can test its lower extreme. But the NASDAQ has quite a ways to go before it can test that lower extreme as well. Have a great night, and I will pick this back up for sure tomorrow.